right, so I do apologize for the interruption. I would like to conclude this session for you with the Agile Performance Improvement Guide. And so if you, when you get these slides shared, then you will see I've developed an 8-point implementation guide for you. First of all, I'm going to briefly just take you through it, and then we can open for questions and answers. First of all, you need to understand the customer's changing need. Secondly, you need to understand and rapidly assess the barriers preventing performance. Thirdly, you need to focus on the results and add the value based on the changing needs. So there's a total link there. And fourthly, you need to swiftly and smartly work in small teams. And while you do that, you need to focus on the people interactions rather than not be too concerned with following your particular processes and your tools. Then the next implementation point is you've got to respond to the suggested changes and the feedback through your iterations from your clients versus that your cumbersome plans that you feel you need to develop and complete. The next implementation step is that you need to obtain continuous feedback and make the changes to the different iterations by focusing on working together in the small teams. And then lastly, you need to focus on continuous evaluation and your sustainability versus the final measurement of your comprehensive documentation that you feel you need to prepare for the client. And this is a dynamic process happening. And whilst you're doing this, you have your performance improvement mindset ready so that you focus on the work, the worker, the workplace, and understand the impact from the world perspective. And then finally, I have for you a free copy, if you email me, of my latest ebook on performance improvement, and I call it the job aids, the essential job aids to performance improvement. So Thierry, I'm really sorry for all the interruptions and that we couldn't get this going. So maybe, shall I switch off my camera and we go to the questions? Or how do you want to proceed?
No problem. No worry. Because I think the bandwidth is good now. Okay. I will also put on my own for the Q&A interaction.
Okay.
So that you can be more dynamic. Right. I don't know if your presentation is ended already.
Yes. Yes, I have ended it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Belia, thank you very much. I understand about the disagreement of the technology. Despite of all the preparation we can have, we usually face those type of misagreement. So it usually happens. It is also as we are moving online now, working more and more remotely. There is such types of disagreement we have to manage. So
yes, absolutely.
No worry about it.
Thank you.
So I thank you for all those types of explanation, all those type of tips you just gave the audience. I will try to do I will try, because I cannot be as good as you. I will try to do a little summary in French.
Yes.
For our audience, which is typically French speaking. I will try to summary in 2 minutes or 2 or 5 minutes, so that they can also have a global understanding of what you will have explained shortly. So, pour notre audience francophone, déjà nous excusons un peu pour ces quelques perturbations du réseau qui a empêché que Belia termine un peu présentation de son exposé, de sa présentation. Mais qu'à cela ne tienne, l'essentiel de la présentation de Belia NEL portait sur l'approche globale d'amélioration de la performance centrée sur le system thinking, donc la pensée globale, la pensée système. L'approche système, donc sur deux aspects, l'essentiel de sa présentation a porté sur deux aspects, sur l'approche système et sur l'approche agile, l'approche de performance agile de l'organisation. L'amélioration des performances, selon elle, j'essaye de faire un résumé succinct, l'amélioration des performances apporte de la valeur au sein de l'organisation parce qu'elle est centrée sur les résultats. Et result focus practice. Donc, c'est centré sur, ce sont des pratiques focus résultats, centrées sur les résultats, basées sur une approche holistique. Une approche holistique qui a trois composantes. La composante people, workers, donc le travailleur, ou la valeur humaine, la composante workplace, donc milieu professionnel, et la composante processus, donc environnement de travail. Pour réussir donc à construire un système d'amélioration de la performance, il faut le centrer sur une approche holistique qui intègre ces trois composantes-là. Après avoir fait une présentation, après avoir insisté dessus, elle est également revenue sur l'intérêt de l'amélioration des performances dans un environnement qui est changeant. L'exemple typique de l'environnement changeant, c'est par exemple l'environnement que nous vivons actuellement causé par la crise de Covid-19 et qui implique un certain nombre de changements au niveau de la prise de décision. Ça implique par exemple d'intégrer la résolution des problèmes beaucoup plus rapidement, d'avoir une prise de décision beaucoup plus rapide et d'avoir également d'opérationnaliser les décisions prises assez rapidement, évaluer, corriger et améliorer le processus. Dans le cadre dans un environnement de changeant comme celui que nous vivons actuellement, implique une rapidité dans l'exécution et dans la pensée, que ce soit du leadership et au niveau des opérations. Maintenant, elle est revenue également sur la pratique de la pensée systémique. La pensée globale, la pensée systémique. La pensée systémique également qui fait intervenir un couple d'indicateurs, des indicateurs visibles au niveau up et des indicateurs invisibles, parce qu'on ne voit pas toujours tout ce que l'on est appelé à mesurer pour pouvoir évaluer la performance de l'organisation. C'est pour ça qu'elle insiste sur le fait qu'il faut avoir une approche globale, donc une approche système comme elle le dit, centrée sur les trois composantes que j'ai dit, workers, workplace, processes. Quels sont donc les principes sur lesquels elle s'appuie? Premier principe est focus on result and outcome, c'est-à-dire se concentrer sur les résultats et les livrables. Première chose qui doit guider l'action stratégique et l'action au niveau des opérations. Appliquer une approche centrée système, ce qu'on appellerait encore dans certains systèmes de management une approche processus. Avoir une approche qui apporte de la valeur, avoir une pensée qui apporte de la valeur et s'entourer, travailler avec des partenaires et des parties prenantes, ne plus travailler seul. Donc, première chose, se centrer sur les résultats et les livrables, avoir une approche, une pensée systémique, être orienté apport de valeur et travailler avec les partenaires et les parties prenantes de l'organisation. Donc, en termes de méthodologie, il faut être centré résolution des problèmes, il faut construire des systèmes de contrôle, des systèmes de contrôle, beaucoup plus pour la maîtrise des risques, maîtrise des perturbations de l'organisation, tout ce qui peut empêcher à ce que l'organisation atteigne sa mission. Il faut mettre en place des dispositifs de contrôle pour s'assurer que lorsque l'organisation est en train de se déployer pour l'atteinte de sa mission, qu'elle puisse garantir la conformité par rapport, qu'elle puisse garantir la conformité par rapport aux normes que l'organisation s'est fixées pour l'atteinte de son objectif. Et après, il faut réussir l'implémentation et garantir l'évaluation. Donc, c'est une boucle. Maintenant, après cette première approche centrée sur l'approche systémique, elle est revenue également sur les aspects agiles. Sur les aspects agiles d'amélioration des performances, donc il doit être centré sur un certain nombre de valeurs, les valeurs agiles, les principes de performance, les principes de performance système et les fondations de la performance et les outils et méthodologiques. Donc pour pouvoir donc construire un cadrage d'intégrer de la performance, il faudra pouvoir interroger le pourquoi, le comment et le pourquoi, le comment et le quoi, le comment et le pourquoi. Le quoi, c'est qu'est-ce que l'on doit faire pour pouvoir construire une stratégie de performance au sein de l'organisation. Il faut fournir les informations au niveau informationnel. Il faut pouvoir répondre aux changements de l'organisation. Il faut pouvoir analyser ce qui est, faire des analyses sur ce qui est l'analyse des corrections, des non-conformités et pouvoir corriger, évaluer et puis améliorer. Et après, le comment, ce sont les outils. Quels sont les outils? Il est revenu également sur un certain nombre d'outils qu'elle propose et qu'elle déploie, par exemple, pour pouvoir amener l'organisation à construire sa stratégie de performance. Et après, le why, le pourquoi. Pourquoi mettre en place un système intégré de performance? C'est pour répondre à des besoins, c'est pour répondre à des causes, c'est pour proposer des solutions, c'est pour adresser des impacts et garantir la soutenabilité de la croissance et de la performance, de la viabilité, la durabilité de l'organisation. Et après, la performance, amélioration de performance dans ces temps qui changent, dans ces temps changeants, impose de prévenir, les barrières pour pouvoir construire ce cadrage d'amélioration de performance. Il faut pouvoir construire des barrières, il faut pouvoir construire des mécanismes de protection et de contrôle pour éviter que l'organisation ne faille. Il faut aussi construire, pour pouvoir rendre la performance durable, il faut construire des outils support pour pouvoir accompagner l'organisation avec un certain nombre d'outils qui se permettent de supporter ce processus de changement. Et après, il faut changer les habitudes. L'une des composantes sur lesquelles il faut agir le plus, sur lesquelles elle insiste, sur lequel qui est centrale, c'est sur la composante humaine, le potentiel humain. Et sur le potentiel humain, il faut travailler à changer les habitudes. Il faut travailler à changer les behaviors, les comportements. Elle propose dans une batterie de mesures et de stratégies pour pouvoir agir sur les comportements, parce que c'est pour elle la ressource la plus importante. Il faut regarder au-delà, il faut regarder toujours les hommes situés en arrière du système, et il faut regarder l'impact sur les changements que l'organisation va avoir sur ces personnes. Et après, quels sont les skills, quelles sont les connaissances en termes de la boîte de performance pour le futur, pour accompagner ces organisations. Il faut avoir, et ces ressources doivent avoir un rôle de communication, un rôle de recherche, un rôle de changement et un rôle de professionnel. Y compris toutes ces composantes doivent développer cette polyvalence-là pour pouvoir avoir un comportement agile dans un environnement qui est en train de changer et rester d'une manière pérenne dans la dynamique de croissance. Donc, globalement, sans être autant explicite qu'elle ne l'a été, j'ai essayé un peu de résumer l'essentiel du développement qu'elle a fait en anglais. Maintenant, on va essayer de revenir sur un certain nombre de questions pour lui permettre également de donner des informations complémentaires, des explications complémentaires à l'audience, pour que l'audience puisse être encore beaucoup plus édifiée. Une minute. Une minute, Belia. Hello, Belia.
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Okay, I try to do a little summary of your good presentation. Now, I have some additional questions that will help the audience. It will help the audience because the question is based on all the development you just you just deliver on your presentation, and it will be an occasion to better explain a lot of points you mentioned on your presentation, some key points. So I have the first question. We'll be asking after try to do a little summary in French for our French audience. The first question is that the term performance and the notion of performance management is used in all professional environment now. And all managers have only that word in their mouth. But what does this notion of performance management really mean? Okay. Who is concerned by the design or management of performance in the organization? Top management or operations? Is there a priority sector? How are responsibilities shared? because now everybody is talking about performance, either be the operation, at the operational level, at the top management level, at the board level. Every sector are talking about either be HR, process, logistics, communication, commercials. Every sector are talking about what does it mean? What does it really mean in terms of performance? Who is concerned about the design, the management? How the role shared on the different components?
Yes. Okay, let me answer it in maybe I hear three or four distinct questions. So the first question I hear is really what is the difference between performance management and performance improvement? So performance management is okay. Let's begin with performance management. Every manager or team leader who, as part of their KPIs or KPAs, are responsible for the performance outputs of their employees. And that is typically done through a performance management process or performance management system. Now, performance management as a system or a process whereby you manage the individual performance against a set of KPAs managing past performance of an individual. That is performance management. And that is the role of every team leader, every manager who is managing people, because their number one KPA is to manage and be responsible for the performance outputs of the individual staff members. Performance improvement as a practice or as a methodology, on the other hand, looks at performance holistically. So you need to, even in performance management, so I apply performance improvement as a methodology to everything I do in my consulting work. I apply it to performance management, to strategy development, transformation, even when I develop learning material, transform HR or learning. You consider or what may impact achieving this performance goal from an organizational perspective. So what information, if you don't get it, or change in commitment from leadership will affect you achieving this particular goal? You also need to say, well, what may impact achieving this particular goal from an operational perspective? That could be, I don't have access to the right systems. I'm working with outdated procedures and policies. We don't have the right computer software, the software technology to help me to achieve this particular goal. The third level of worker is the skill and the knowledge that I may have as a person. I may be preventing myself from achieving this particular goal because I don't have the particular skill and knowledge that is required. Now, typically, performance management looks only at the performance of the individual against the past KPAs and the past achievement of goals. But a performance improvement approach will say, let's plan for performance in the next quarter by applying what may affect us achieving this goal from a workplace, and world. What may happen from an environmental perspective that we don't have control over? It could be something at an organizational level that was a barrier at that level that was affecting the individual to perform. Likewise, it could be something at a process or policies or procedures, or the person may simply not have the job aids to perform the work. So typically, people or managers blame individuals when performance drops. So a typical question that I always ask managers, if training is the solution to your performance problem, please remind me what is the problem that you're trying to address. And when we start talking actually about what the performance issue is, it may not be something that must be fixed at a people level. It may be something very small at an organizational level. Now, international research shows that only 10% or 20% of all performance issues are due to people because of their lack of skill and knowledge or their work motivation. Up to 90% of most performance issues in any organization is at a
Yes, yes, Belia. Yes, 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 Belia, thank you. La question qui était posée à Belia, c'était de savoir que c'était déjà la compréhension des termes performance et gestion de la management de la performance qui est un peu utilisé dans tous les environnements actuellement. Qu'est-ce que cela renvoie, à quoi est-ce que cela renvoie exactement? Et elle nous a fait une différence entre la gestion de la performance et l'amélioration de la performance. Donc, la gestion de la performance, un peu utilisée par les équipes opérationnelles dans le cas de l'atteinte des objectifs de performance des PI. Alors que l'amélioration de la performance est une approche holistique qui doit permettre à l'organisation ou au manager d'avoir une vue globale, pas seulement centrée sur les KPI, mais avoir une vue qui intègre également une approche complete. So now another question.
Yes.
About process improvement. Maybe
yes.
you just give us your view.
Sure.
Yes. How to do in a company, for example, when the top management has invested enough on capacity development of workforce, and the performance is not improving. Objectives remain unfulfilled, sales are not improving, and customer complaints are at height. What advices are you recommend to corporations facing such situations? How can they move from the actual state to a future high performance state?
Yes. Well, yes, and I'll try and keep it very short because I realize you need to translate. So again, you will apply your holistic view to performance. But when you feel, and I don't know, that you have done the proper capacity building and the development and the training of the people, and yet the people are still not performing. So you need to, first of all, find out exactly what the problem is. You cannot assume that it is at a process level, because my standard answer is we don't know. So if you have, so your capacity building may not be addressing the actual sales performance need. You may, or the company may assume it does. But it is always a good idea if the company feels they've done the correct capacity building, is to really do a full-on investigation of and doing process mapping. Now, the process mapping should be done from a holistic perspective as well. Even though you're doing the process improvement and understanding the alignment in the value chain, you've got to wrap around the systems thinking approach to the process mapping to understand that you may have fabulous processes, but it may not be aligning to the strategy, or that the people are not understanding, or they may not have the tools, or you may be assuming that they have the learning and the training that was given. But yes, then do a proper investigation of analyzing every process step in the value chain. And I would suggest is that people first of all start with what are our immediate top 3 or top 5 goals, and from that and work out what is the value chain, and then look at how do our processes match that value chain. And how do the people align to the value chain? So I think you get that as well.
Ok, donc la question qui est à Madame Belia, c'était de dire que dans l'amélioration des process, comment une organisation, par exemple, dont le top management a investi énormément dans le développement de son potentiel humain, et par contre n'a pas les résultats qu'elle escompte. Les objectifs ne sont pas atteints, ne sont toujours pas atteints, les ventes ne progressent pas, les consommateurs, les pleins consommateurs sont toujours au niveau le plus élevé. Quelles recommandations elle peut formuler pour faire face à ce genre de situation qui lui permet de partir d'un état actuel à un état futur souhaité? Sa réponse est de dire que il faut d'abord toujours commencer par une analyse de la situation. Comment savoir que le renforcement du potentiel humain était la solution par rapport au problème que vit l'entreprise? Il peut arriver qu'on ait voulu solutionner un problème sans avoir interrogé véritablement la source du problème. Il faut d'abord commencer par une cartographie de la chaîne de valeur pour connaître quel est le problème et pour pouvoir déterminer la solution appropriée par rapport qui peut permettre de résoudre la source racine de ce problème en question. Now, another question.
Yes.
Another question, to achieve human performance improvement, or incentives to motivate, to make that the workforce can be more implicated on the job so that they can achieve the results. On which ones of those proposed domain companies should invest more to help their workforce better perform in increasing sales and revenue, reducing cost or risks, and better help the company to progress? How the company can balance? Where should they invest more to improve the workforce capacity?
Yes. Yeah, the answer is very short and simple.
How to know in which component they should invest?
Yes. So if you look at the organizational level and the operational level and the people level, workplace, worker, the immediate answer is to focus on the workplace, because as I've said earlier on, to focus more on the people, they could be totally disengaged because of a problem at the workplace. They may feel that leadership, they don't get the support from leadership. They could feel that they don't understand the strategy. They are not communicated to. They feel disconnected to the organizational level. So also, to support my point, it is far, if you think about a scale, and if you look at investing in people, it's the most expensive thing in any organization that you can do to improve performance. The cheapest or most inexpensive way to rectify performance is to understand that everything at an organizational level is fully aligned. And then there I'm talking about, is your strategy understandable? Do you fully share the strategy in understandable bits and bytes to your employees? Do you communicate with them often? Do they have access to information? Do leadership fulfill their roles in terms of team engagement and coaching? Do they have the right resources? Do they have the right reward and recognition policies? Because if you have all those checklists, I would start at the organizational level, because that's the less expensive. Because if you keep on trying to fix the people, it's very expensive, and the research has shown that is the most costly way to keep on changing people thinking that the performance will improve, is to start at the organizational level, to really make sure that everything is totally aligned at an organization.
It means that the company should invest more to upgrade their environment,
Yes,
more than
yes,
investing their resources on human capacity
correct.
building.
They're wasting their money trying to fix the people. They need to create the organizational environment. They need to focus on culture. They need to focus on engaging employees. They need to focus on their values. They need to ensure, when I send you the PowerPoint, there's a particular model where I talk about more disruption, less value. And I talk about more value, less disruption. But you've got to start with values, strategy, formulation, your value proposition, and particularly, how do people buy into your values? You can have the most wonderful value proposition or values, but if your employees are not buying into that, or they don't align with the culture, because remember, every company has an internal culture and they have an external culture that they show to stakeholders and customers. Now, sometimes you see an advertisement or a campaign of your own company where you work, and you think, I don't work there. That's not how that is. And that is the first sign that the people are totally disengaged to what the organization, and typically the marketing department, who are sometimes so far removed from the actual internal customers who are the employees, but they present this image outside that is not true. And then you find the employees become more and more disengaged. So
Okay,
it's focusing on the right
okay.
culture and the values, making sure that the people have
Okay.
bought into it, that they've
Now,
designed it.
okay. Now we have a little time remaining
Yes,
session of today. Just some question again. In these
yes,
disruptive and rapidly changing times, especially
yes,
with COVID-19, most
yes,
organizations are reinventing themselves to remain
yes,
and adapt to the new normal, which
yes,
require being more agile. You
yes,
talk a lot of agile on your
uh,
presentation, agile
yes,
process.
yeah, agility,
To
yeah,
remain competitive
agile,
and adopt the new normal, which require being more agile, more
yes,
customer-oriented, more employee
yes,
satisfaction, improving the ways of working, and most importantly, control the speed of change in the
yes,
organization. How can organizations go about curbing the resistance to change that arises and better help the organization to succeed in its organizational transformation? Because
yes,
there will be a lot of resistance to change in the organization on this
yes,
as the
yes,
organization want to progress, to going forward in progression on the performance during this changing time?
Yes. The resistance to change is a human factor. We are programmed inherently to resist change. Many people. There are some of us who like change and can adapt quickly, but many people, majority of employees, don't adapt to change easily. Now, when an organization want to in this to change rapidly and to change to the new normal, the easiest way is to go back to basics. Don't try and overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. And the most important point is to make sure that the employees have been totally and continuously consulted, because they are the ones that will indicate because they are usually the ones that are closest to the customers. And maybe I'm talking about a retail perspective now, but to consult with your employees and ensure that they are part of that they are the reason why you want to transform. You will reap the benefits because you will make them engaged. But to try and change from the outside in, you have to have an inside, outside, inside approach. So you've got to be transparent to your employees.
Okay. Okay. Another question as we are concluding. How in your understanding,
Let me explain this with an example. You can have the most effective and efficient processes, but if your organizational strategy, values, culture, your leadership commitment do not support this process efficiency, you are wasting money, because the human factor is disengaged. So you cannot make a process efficient and leave the workers and the workplace out of it. It all has to be aligned. So we are embracing process improvement. We are embracing Lean and Six Sigma. But that's only helping at a process level. You've got to look at the total system of performance by aligning that process efficiency to how people will engage with those process efficiencies. Because there is always a human element or a human motivation, even though there's a perfect product coming through the process efficiency, and I'm talking about a manufacturing example. But you've got to align the people and the organizational strategies and value and culture and information and communication to your efficient processes. Have you lost me? Have we lost connection, Thierry?
Hello, Belia.
Yes. Yes. Are you there? Did you get my answer?
The bandwidth
Yeah.
is very low.
Yeah. I must put down my camera.
Hello.
Yes. Let me switch my camera off. Can you hear me?
Yes, I think that we will conclude the session of today because now the bandwidth is very low.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
You're hearing me? I'm saying that the bandwidth is very low, and now
Yes.
we have almost attained 1 hour and a half for the session of
Yes.
today.
Okay.
So I will try to conclude.
Yes.
So it is okay by your side?
Yes, it's okay. It's good.
Okay. So thank you very much for the time, despite some disagreement, the technical, because due to network. But anyway, we have a great discussions today about this hot topic of performance improvement in these changing times. I think we learned a lot about especially your holistic approach based on workplace worker and workplace worker and work job site. So I think that the attendance, workplace workers and processes, I think that the attendance has learned a lot to better understand the different performance improvement challenges and how they can better address them, and better provide adequate proposition to their different managers. I think that we will continue discussing of those types of topics. We have other type of to discuss this great topic. So I thank you very much for your time, the time preparation, and the time to present during this third webinar.
Thank you.
So I will conclude in French also. Merci à notre audience. Merci. Nous sommes arrivés au terme de notre session d'aujourd'hui d'1 heure et demie. Et nous avons été, nous remercions Madame Belia NEL de Afrique du Sud, malgré quelques soucis techniques liés à la connexion qui n'est pas très stable. Nous avons pu conduire cette session et ceux qui n'auront pas pu suivre la session en direct pourront la suivre même en replay. Et pour toutes vos sollicitations, vous souhaiteriez avoir plus connaissance du domaine, n'hésitez pas à nous revenir pour plus de détails. Sur ce, Belia,
yes.
I think now we're going to conclude. A final word? Do you have a final word?
Yes, thank you very much. Given the technology challenges that we have, I will immediately send you my entire slide deck that you can share or make available on your website or share with all the audience members, and all my information is there. Check out my website and please feel free to contact me via email with any of the questions, and I will come back to you within 24 hours if I can to answer all your questions. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Thierry. And I hope that perhaps one day we can do something in person. But technology for now is what we need to do. Thank you again. And yes, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, sure. Sure. I will come back to you soon. Okay, thank you. Have a nice
Thank you.
have a nice afternoon,
Thank
and
you.
see you in another time.
Yes, thanks,
Okay,
Thierry.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Oof.